Next, we will configure a security policy that will list applications we want to inspect and allow from our user network. One of these applications will be the social network application, Facebook. We will be using my personal account for testing, but accessing personal pages on Facebook are secure, so our PAN appliance will decrypt it so we can inspect it further. We will also enable specific applications within Facebook that our internal users can access. We will enable them to access the general pages on Facebook, but one of the applications we will not include will be using the chat feature. Chatting with other Facebook friends will be blocked. All of these applications are secure on Facebook, but again, our firewall will be able to see it due to the decryption policy we added. We will also add a policy for allowing Outlook web access email, which is also a secure page that we can decrypt. Now, before we begin this configuration, let's quickly show you the applications that we'll be using. So to do that, let's go to the Objects tab. Then let's go to Applications. And in the search field, let's type in Facebook to look for only Facebook-related applications. Okay, so here we see a lot of things here. We see a main group called Facebook followed by sub-applications. So you see things like Facebook Base, chat, file sharing, mail, to even posting. This is one of the biggest advantages of having a next generation firewall because we can be very specific on what we want to allow within a particular application. Remember, any general firewall is blocking based on protocol and port number. That means everything on Facebook could be either allowed or denied, not both. However, doing application first, that implies that we can be more selective on what applications within an application a user can do. So in our case, we're going to allow Facebook Base. That means accessing the general pages on Facebook, but we're not going to include mail, file sharing, and specifically chat. We're not going to enable that, and we're going to show you what happens when we try to do a chat session. It's going to be blocked because we have not specifically allowed that in our policy. Selecting the application that you want to allow may have some dependencies, and the best way to look for that is by going to the application itself, like Facebook Base, and looking for that information here under Depends on Applications. So right now there are no dependencies, but you also see the standard ports that it uses, which is HTTP and secure HTTP, which is what we expect because once again, Facebook, a lot of their pages are secure, but our firewall will be able to decrypt them. Let's go ahead and close this up. And another application that we'll be using is Outlook Web. Let's type that in here, Outlook. And there is that single application. Let's go ahead and look at those details for any dependencies. And there we do see some dependencies of SSL and web browsing, and that means that those also have to be included in our policy. Let's go ahead and close up this page. To configure our policy, let's go to the Policies tab. Then let's go to Security. And here we see a previous rule. Let's go ahead and delete that and start from scratch. Let's highlight this and then delete it. Now let's add a new security rule. Starting with the name under the General tab, we're going to type in users. Oops, make that capitalized. Outbound Internet. Let's go to the Source tab. And the source will be our user network, which exists in the LAN zone. Let's select that one. And let's also select the appropriate object for the source network of our user network, which is right here. Now let's go to the Destination tab, and that will be anything on the internet where Facebook exists. So that exists off of our WAN zone. Let's select that. And of course, this will be for any address on the internet. Next, let's go to the Application tab. And this is where we're going to start adding the application we want to allow and to allow for inspection, decryption as well. So to do that, let's go to Add. And the first thing we're going to add is Facebook Base. Try that again. Facebook Base. Let's go ahead and add Outlook Web now. There it is. Let's add web browsing. There it is. Let's select SSL application. And last, let's add DNS as well. Okay, great. So again, we can add other applications that we want to allow, but right now this is our requirements. Last, let's go to actions, where we can specify to either allow or deny, and we want to allow it. So nothing here needs to be done. So we're going to go ahead and click on OK. Now that rule has been added, and if we scroll here, we can confirm those listed applications that will be allowed. Let's go ahead and commit the changes. And once this is finished, then it will be ready to do our testing using, once again, my personal Facebook account. Great, we are finished with no errors. Let's close this up. Let's bring up our user computer that we're connected to. Here we are. Let's open up Firefox, which has our install certificate that we did earlier. And let's go to facebook.com. Great, so now as a user, we are connected. But the biggest question is, how do we know that our firewall, which we have configured so far, is acting on our behalf? That means it actually is proxying this page for us. It is doing its own decryption and is doing its own inspection. How do we know that? The best way is looking at the certificate that we are using to access facebook.com. To confirm that certificate, we can click on the little lockup here. And doing that, you will see that it is verified by RouteHub. That means that our firewall has decrypted this page and is acting on our behalf. So everything works. We can go to more information and look at other details that are needed. But so far, this is what we need to confirm. Is the firewall acting on our behalf? And it is. Now our firewall is able to inspect everything that we do within the secure session on Facebook, since it is now decrypted. We can access this page because this is part of the Facebook-based application that we allowed, but we did not allow other applications like chatting. So let's confirm if that doesn't work. Let's go down to the chat option down here to list my friends, and let's click on one of my friends here. Let's say this one. And let's type in something like hello. And when we do that, you will see failed to send, which is great. Let's do another test. We can go right up here and click on the messenger option. Let's click on one of our friends here. Let's choose my other Facebook account. Let's send another test message here. And of course you see, once again, failed to send, because we are not allowing that application from our user network. Let's confirm the other application works as well, which is Outlook Web Access, which is a secure page. So let's go ahead and type in our particular address. Let's leave the page. Okay, this is Outlook Web Access. Let's go ahead and log in with our credentials. Okay, now we are connected, but let's confirm if the firewall is acting on our behalf. So once again, let's go back and confirm the certificate. And there it is verified by RouteHub. So that is also working based on what we have defined. So basically, that is how you can do the outbound SSL decryption configuration on the firewall appliance. Now, before we do conclude this video, we can quickly look at the traffic logs for the testing we've been doing from our user computer. Let's go ahead and refresh this page. And let's go ahead and turn on resolve hostname. When we do that, you will see things like Facebook that we're accessing from the user network, from our user computer, even the allowed rule actions applications that we were allowing. So this is a good confirmation besides looking at the certificate information, that we are accessing secure pages and knowing that our firewall is able to decrypt them.